or maybe take the maths they do very serious like you do. So this person will tell you, what do you mean by directly and proportional or something? So you should be able to come to the person's level and then explain to the person. So that is one of the key things of a data scientist. One of the key skills you should have is effective communication. Be a master of what you are saying. So you did your analysis, understand it, way, 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 way higher or maybe very, very in depth that even if I'm trying to, there are people, it's in life, there are people who will not like you in your team. Whilst you're presenting, they would try to give you some, trash questions to kind of trick your understanding to see. And people are also curious. You don't know, it's because you've not worked in maybe, you've not worked in any corporate this as a data scientist before. Sometimes the whole company's decision is actually dependent on your findings. So the whole company is actually waiting for you to talk and then they act according to what you say. So they want to believe, they want to really understand before they will take, that decision. Otherwise, you can ruin their decisions for them. For example, you work for maybe McDonald's, Walmart, or maybe Amazon. Let's come to our level. You work for a bank, maybe GCB, Car Bank, or something, and they want to establish a new um, branch in maybe any of the five regions of the northern region of the northern part of Ghana. They ask you, do your analysis based on customer whatever purchasing power and all those ones, and tell us which region will be suitable, for this thing. So you do your analysis, and what you find is what they are going to act upon. So they want to understand. They want to really understand so that they can believe you. They can lay the trust in you, and then you go ahead with it. You get me? So it is very, very good you understand very well and try to make meanings from the pictures you see. So I'm very glad you are all saying something which is very, very true. And I would like to see if any of you has something to add again. So Bright, you can go ahead. I saw your hand up. Yeah, Bright, you can go ahead. I don't know whether you can hear me. If you are here, you can hear me, go ahead. You know what? Vodafone wants to kill me. You know what? Vodafone wants to kill me today. But I'm not talking. I'm not doing it. Bright, I think you your hand was up. I don't want to talk much about it. Probably after the class, I'll see what to do. Bright,
Oh,
go on.
oh, okay. I hope you can hear me now.
Oh yeah, very loud and clear. Just that my mood is not good.
Oh, okay. So I wanted to say something about the chat. So from
Yeah.
what I understand, I think it's display the number of jobs per year. So as we can see from 2020 to 2023, which is about 4 year or 3 years intervals, and from 2020 the job was very low, not even up to 300, and from 2021 the increment was very small, and 2020 is kind of boosted to over 1,000, and from 2023 more than 6,000. So I can say that jobs in the field of data science or in the world of data is increasing drastically, especially from 2022 to 2023. And I was also trying to understand why 2020 and 2021 is very low. So the COVID also came to my mind that maybe because um, in 2020 the COVID came in ending of 2020, 2019. So the lockdown and everything was in 2020 and 2021. So what I can say is that maybe because of that, that was the reason why we can see the figures in 2020 and 2021 very low as compared to 2022 and 2023.
That's awesome. I'll give you the egg on my awam, but it is just that you are not here to take it, right? So I'll eat it for you, but you would have the nutrients in your body, right? So don't worry, you have um, my egg. It's right here. When I finish teaching, I would I'll eat it for you peacefully, and believe you me, you will have it. You will grow fat. This one is a very nutritious egg, ostrich egg, right? So back to what you were saying. I wanted to add that my network was kind of breaking. So always try to understand, like I was saying, have a fair, a deeper knowledge of what you're presenting to others. Now, if I was there and you presenting this to me, I'll ask you, just like ask you a question he answered very well. Why is it that 2020 and 2021 have a very low, job testing? And he said it, COVID-19. COVID came in, all of us thought we would die. All of us thought we would die. Some of our parents started giving their monies to us. Some of the parents too started, telling their kids their will. I gave you my car, I gave you my this, I gave you my that, because parents thought you would die. So let me quickly like review my will to my kids, something like that, so that they know. Some families too. I remember one of my brothers, he fell sick during the COVID, and then he actually had COVID. Then he was in Kumasi, but then there was a lockdown in Kumasi. And then he came to party and those things, and he had COVID. So he was quarantined here. And then he called me that, Charlie, is he have some money? I bought some land. He showed me where the land papers are and all those things. He showed me his bank account and the pins and all those stuff. He knew he would die because he would die, right? When he didn't die, he called me, Charlie. I actually one day I wanted to check his bank account to see whether there was something inside. When I entered the pin, they said wrong pin. I was like, hey. So when I called him, he was like, oh, crap, I'm papers in the brain. I'm young. Is it? He took his papers back. So something like that. It's just a scenario to tell you that, when COVID came, everything went down. Everything was just down, you know. So companies too, most of them closed. Those who trade in stock prices, and those who trade in forex, they really came down, and people did not trade well in stocks and those things because people thought, myself, I thought I'll die, so I started spending some money in my account. I'll buy things and eat. I'll eat shepe because I don't want to die and leave my money. I don't have any less of kin. Is it? So I don't have a next of kin, so I didn't want to. I started spending my money. So this is a very nice thing. He's been able to realize that okay, 2020 we were hit by the whole of the year was actually COVID prone. Yeah. So today, hmm, it's not easy, but I'll manage. Probably after the listing, I'll know how to handle Vodafone Ghana. I have taken my MTN SIM into my Wi-Fi now, and I hope it doesn't go off like that again. So after the 200 cities, the network too isn't good. That is Ghana. What will I say? Who was even talking? I think it was me, right? It was me. So let me put the Wi-Fi down this time. So, guys, so sorry about that. It's not my fault, but it's my fault. I would. I've never experienced this before, but I don't know. Let me just share my screen again and we go to go. I hope you can hear me. Wave if you can hear me so that I know I'm not. Hello, can you hear from me? Yeah, so I was asking if you can hear from me. You let me know. Something. Okay, so Rashad can hear from me. Thank you. If my line is breaking, Fadila, my team, my able team, thank you very much. Um, so sorry about what's happening today. I don't have no idea what is happening to whether it is from my systems, whether it is from Vodafone, whether it is from my machines. I don't know. Right now, I have MTN in. I hope the network is still. I'm trying MTN. Vodafone, they've let me down after the 200 Cs. And I'll see them. So I do the job. And then my MTN is in now. I just hope it works. Yeah. So back to what I was saying. Always know, kind of um, relate your findings, make some meanings from what is around you, make it real, like make it real. So we can see that COVID actually affected jobs in 2020, and I'm very sure if you were employed, maybe in during the epic you know COVID period, you wouldn't accept the offer. You are thinking of when to die. Not to talk of people were not even applying for jobs. People were so frustrated, like myself here. And the whole things, flights were cancelled, all those ones. So companies were not. So companies had to, they were forced to close and all those things. So 2020, that is why it is very low. And after 2021, people were now recovering from the COVID, and some companies had run out of, they ran at a very huge loss, and then some had collapsed. Some, the few ones which were there, started employing because some had died and all those ones. We will see 2022 back in action. In 2023 there's a boom, like a surge. Like 2023's employment is like 3 or 4 times that of 2022 in the previous years. Yeah. So that is one meaning, one way we can say it. Another way we can say it is that you and I believe that, and then most of us got to even hear the word AI when ChatGPT, very recently, when ChatGPT came out, Google had the new AI revolution in the, when it began. So it was when companies actually realized the importance of data science and those the importance of LLMs and all those automations, artificial intelligence. So companies started employing and trying betting on them to kind of boost productivity, to attract, to make profit and all those stuff. And now it's like almost every company out there, not in our country here, has a data scientist or a data analyst or whatever. So that is another meaning too. And it is projected that um, AI jobs, or let me say data science jobs, are actually going to go up very, very high. They are going to be very, very high in demand in by 2050. So it is actually telling us that we're not in the wrong field. There is actually a bigger market for us. There is actually a broader future for us. So we can actually work hard and then enjoy. We actually learning in a field where people where jobs are surging, jobs are escalating, and then we can get them. Yeah, so something like that. That is me. Another something I would like to add. Who wants to say something? Then we go back to Sandra Kuma, unmute yourself, say something. What do you think about the chat? Sandra Kuma, I know you can hear from me. Unmute yourself and then, you know, say something. I know why I am saying, I'm actually making everyone talk. Unmute yourself and say something. Um, Siddiq Dawood, if Sandra is not talking, okay, Sandra, yes, I've not said it. Say, you can even repeat what I said. There is no problem. I want you to tell me what you see about it and what inferences can you make. So still unmute yourself and talk. Abubakar Siddiq, you prepare yourself too. And Sandra, the floor is yours. Please go ahead. You don't need to waste much time. I've already wasted much. So let me. Okay, Sandra isn't talking. Let me go back to my screen and then we continue. Probably later we talk about. So now let's also, we can see that there is kind of growth, right? You can see there is growth. It's obvious there is growth. And I'm going to check something. There is actually growth. There is growth because 2021's bar is longer than, so there is growth is obviously increase. So there is increase in job demands or maybe job postings, um, year in year out. So there is been a growth. So how do you measure the growth? How do we measure progress? We measure progress by growth. And then what? How do we measure? In what unit do we measure growth? That is in percentage. You hear people saying jobs in 2023, AI jobs in 2023 has a growth rate of 23%, this percent, the population growth rate is this, meaning the increase. It means that um, the this thing is moving by, or let's say it has or it was increased by that particular percentage. So, for example, if you say jobs increased had a growth rate of, let's say, 20% in 2023, it means that jobs in 2022 increased by 20% in 2023. So we have a negative, it means that there was a reduction. But in our case, it's obvious we have positive. Yeah. So now, one thing I want to also put across or remind us of is that if you actually joined the last class and read what the literature I sent you, you realize that when we have a data which is actually indexed by time, which has a time frame, the time can be years, it can be months, and the date can be hours, minutes, seconds, milliseconds, and all that. So if you have a data like that, it is always good you represent it in a line chart. So it tells us, line chart actually tells us the transition over the years. Yeah, something like that. So it is not wrong to show it this way, but it's always better to show it in a line chart. And then I think we've all seen this before. So I'm using the dot plot, and then I'm saying the line style is actually dashes. So when you do two dashes, it will turn to dashes. But when you do one dash, it will be a block, like lines like this. So I just wanted to demonstrate that. We saw that last week, but I wanted to repeat. And the marker is actually this, how we kind of mark where the data points are. So if you do O means that it should be marked with zeros, and if you do X, means that you should have some little lines, X sign there. So I'm using O. You can do whatever you want, and then we label them. Now when you come here, you will see that we have this. I think all these are okay. These are just labeling. But we have another. guy here that is plt.xtext, and I said xtext comes whenever you see xtext, it means we're talking to the x-axis. Now we when we let me kind of comment this out and run it, you see something. You will see that the x-axis is actually in decimals. Why? Because they are values, so it's kind of pick that thing. But the years we don't have 2021.5, 2022.5. We want the discrete ones, and we don't want to see 2023.0. We want to see 2023 like integers. So what we're going to do is now we're going to kind of label the x-axis up by ourselves. We're not going to use the default one Python is giving us or Matplotlib is giving us. And we do that by using the plt.xtext. Now, I'm providing this is the old um, index, the default one, because we have four different years. We have 2020, 2021, 22, 23, and I provide it in the form of a list because we have more than one um, element here. And now you can see I'm not putting them in quotes because they were actually integer. They were int. When we did the df for info, you could see it was an integer. The data type was integer. So that is why it is doing the dots here and those things. Now we're saying that you see this index which is given in the x-axis um, of our graph. We want to represent it with strings, non-literals, non-numeric. So if it is non-numeric, we actually what we're doing is it is just going to if it is not a number, you cannot divide a word. So it is going to pick just it's going to label the x-axis into 2020, 2020, like the distinctive years instead of having these um, decimals. So if I rerun this, you can see now beautifully we have 2020, 2021, 22, 23, and then we don't have any intermediaries between. So this is xtext is used to kind of decorate or format the x-axis, and y-text is actually used for y-axis. So if I want to do y-text or manipulate the y-axis, I can do just as I did. Then I do whatever I want to do, and I'm going to do. Yeah. So that's it. Now let's calm down. We Now that we've seen, so this is just the same as this, but in this case we are not represent. This is a bar graph, but this is a line chart, and we can see clearly. So with the line chart, you can see the line is kind of heaping up. So it is telling you that we have an increment, like there is an upward trend. There is a trend more like upwards. So it is increasing. You see, something like that. Now, we want to, as a data scientist, you would like to know by how much, I mean, we're talking, numbers are just nominal, percentages, ordinal. For example, if I tell you, oh, there is a business, when you do, we're going to we're going to get a profit of 100 cities, and there is another one which is going to give you a profit of 10 cities. You would be the layman or the non-mathematical person who would do an irrational choose, who would say, oh, I want the 100 cities. Yeah, obviously you would choose the bigger one. But what if I tell you that one would actually require a capital of, say, 1,000 Ghana cedis, and it gives you, or let's say 10,000 Ghana cedis, and it gives you a profit of 100 cedis. And then the other one is going to it's going to require just 100 cedis capital, and it's giving you 10 cities profit. So when you strike the percentage, you would see that the 100 cities of 10,000 Ghana cities is just a percent, but the 10 cities of the 100 cities is 10%. So this one is giving you 10%, this one is giving you 1%. But in the nominal phase, 100 cities is bigger than 10 cities, right? But in the percentage wise, you will see the clear picture. So always we like, as mathematicians, as um, data, scientists, you always, or data analyst, as a data professional, you always talk in percentage wise. So instead of saying, oh, it increased by 3, it increased by so and so, that is a corresponding percentage, something like that. No, now, how do we calculate for percentage change? This is elementary mathematics. So if you have two things and you want to see the percentage change between them, you subtract the old from the new and then divide by the old and you multiply it by 100. Now, if you have two things, say 10 and 9, if you want to know the difference between 10 and 9, you just subtract them. So the difference between 10 and 9 is 10 minus 9, which is 1, right? So that is what is happening top here. So we first find the top here, the current minus the old, or the new minus old. It's actually the difference between, for example, 2020 and 2021. So we want to see, always we subtract the old from the new because we are the new, we are current, and you want to kind of see how far we've been right now, how far are we right now from the previous. So we always subtract the previous from the current. So if you have 2020 and 2021, which one is the previous? The old is 2020, the new is 2021. So you subtract the value of 2020 from that of 2021, and then you divide by the old, that is 2020, and you multiply by 100 and you get a percentage. So that is percentage change. And then, so I'm just trying to, this is the formula here. I'm trying to do it manually for 2020. So we're calculating the job growth over the years. Now, if I do for 2021, that is, I'm calculating the growth of 2021 from 2020. Now, why are we not starting from 2020? If you start from 2020, it's just going to be the 2020 minus the 2020 over 2020, which the numerator is going to be 0, and then it is going to be 0 because it cannot, there will be no change if you are at one place, but there will be change if you move. So we can find the change, the percentage change, whether it's a growth or a decline, that is increase or decrease from 2 years. And that is going to be 2021, 2022. So the new in this case is 2021, the old is 2020. It's going to be the value at 2021 minus the value at 2021, which is 218, minus the value at 2020, which is 75, over 75, which is the old year, and then we multiply it by 1,000. Sorry, 100, because it is a percentage. Now, if we do that, so this is a series. The work here is actually a series. If I wrap it with a type um, function, series is just like a data frame, but that one has just an index, and then it's just like it's a data frame with just one column, and then we have an index, and then the values. So that is a series. So now, if we kind of subtract, so I just wrote the literal and the formula here in Python. Yeah. So what I did was I want to just put them. The reason why I put them in quotes is I don't want to kind of miss things. So before that, if you want to access a particular element of a series, you just do it like just like how we do for list. You provide the index, rather not, it's not a list, so there is no order. They provide the index. So if I want to see the value of 2021, I'll just do work year, then square bracket 2021. Now, why didn't I put it in quotes? Why didn't I put 2021 in quotes? Because in the actual data set, you will see that the year um, data type is integer, so it is numbers. So that is why I didn't. If it was string, I would have put it in quotes. So if I do this and I run, I get 218, which is the value at 2021, which is true. So that is the analogy or the idea we're using here. So I'm saying that if I want to know the growth in 2021, then I have to subtract 2020 from it. So 2021, the value at 2021 minus the value at 2020 divided by the old, which is 2020, then times 100. Now, if you take this, or let's try to do it here. Okay, let me try. So if I do work, yeah, when we do the difference is 143. And then if we divide this by the 2020 value, we get 207 because of the operations. The operations are, you remember board mass, so bracket of blah blah. So always you put the numerator in parentheses so that you tell Python, do this here, finish this before you come and divide it by the 2020 value. So we're telling Python that finish the numerator current minus old before you come and divide it by the old value. So if we do that and we run, we get 1.9066667. So to convert this to percentage, we just multiply it by 100, and then we have we get 190.67% increase. It is positive, so it is an increase, a growth. It is obvious because if you have 75 and then all of a sudden it increased to 218, it is more than 100%. Because 100% of 75 plus 75 times 2 is going to be 150, right? But this is more than 150. So it is more than 100%. It's almost 200%. That is why it's 190.67%. So we do same for 2022. So this is the repetition of 2021, what we did up here. So now that we know that, let me bring this. So we do that same thing for 2021, and then we get that is between 2021 and 2022. The growth rate is 656, which is massive because from 218, the jobs increased to 1,650, which is super massive. Now, from there, we calculate the growth from 2022 to 2023, and that is from 1,650 to 6,031. And then that is obviously a very big percentage, which is around 265.52%. So we've seen how to calculate this manually. The reason why I'm spending time to explain all this is that sometimes, obviously we have functions for almost most of these basic things, almost everything. But if you don't understand the thing, if the function is giving you something wrong, you won't be able to, kind of tell the picture of or tell whether it is right or wrong, something like that. So now we've known how to calculate. But the funny thing is, Pandas has a function to do that. So we don't need to do all these calculations above here. But I wanted to do that so that all of us will know that okay, this is how we do that. Now to access or to calculate for percentage change in um, Pandas, we just call the um, we use the pct, that is for percentage. We use this method pct change, where pct is for percentage, so percentage change, and it's going to do the work for us. So all these complex mathematics we've done top here, this function is going to do, or this method is going to do that for us. So let's call the variable we stored the um, the data in work here, and then we do pct underscore change. Now, if you type in a function and you've forgotten, if you start typing, for example, when I type pct and I've forgotten the rest, all I do is hit the tab. It will complete. It will complete it for you. And then if I run this, let's see the magic. Boom. Now, you can see we have negative values, which is different from the ones we have here. Now, before I even address that, you can see that the first one is NA. Why? Because if you start, like I told you, if you don't move, then you don't have any change, right? If you are at one place, then it's not going to be there's not going to be a change. So when you subtract, it will be like, let's say for example 2022 or 2020. When you pick 2020, it's going to be the value of 2020 minus the value of 2020 over 2022 2020 value. So when you have any number dividing zero, it is undefined. It doesn't exist. That is why we see NaN, not a number here. So, but so we've now understood this and we know why it is there. But now we're getting negatives here. How the hell is that? Let's investigate into it. You realize that if you take a look at the data, you will see that it starts from 2023 and it goes down to 2020. It's like in descending order. So if you do it that way, then it is obviously going to pick this as the first, and then it kind of calculates back. So since this is big and this is lower, it's going to be a negative, a decrease. But that's not the logic. It's actually from 2020 to 2023. So we can do the magic by, if we sort like we did before, we sort these values, then we can actually have it the other way around. And then we can perform the percentage change on that. So let's just, or let me, I am lazy. I always don't like cleaning things and starting from scratch. So all I'm doing is, but I do this because of you. I don't want to confuse. So what I'm doing is, before I do the dot percentage change, I need to sort the values before. So sort values. And then, so I'm saying that call the work year variable, sort the values in ascending order before you calculate the percentage change. Now, if we run, voila, you can see now it is now positives. The values are not in 100% because we've not multiplied. So these are proportions. So when you multiply the whole thing by 100, then we get a value. So you can see the first one was 190 and it is 190. So it was 656, 656, 265, and then we have 265 here, same way. And then now I'm trying to plot it. I'm trying to plot to see the growth. So this is it. So now this is the growth. You see there is a line. Here obviously the 2020 value is not a number here. So we don't expect any, you know, line from there. But it starts from 2021 to 2023. You can see that from 2021 to 2022, there was actually, you know, a growth. There was a high growth. And from 2022 to 2023, obviously there was a growth because you can see from 200, from 1,650 to um, 6,031. But you could see that here there is a decrease. You can see that the line is coming down. Why? Because the percentage change from 2021 to 2022, which is 656 over 600%, is bigger. The percentage change has dropped. The percentage has dropped. In 2022, it increased. It increased to 190 in 2021. Then the figure surged. It escalated to 656 in 2022. But in 2023, though it increased, but it increased, in a smaller percentage as compared to the previous growth percentage. That is why you can see, you know, kind of decline. Though there is an increase there, but that increase isn't as big as the previous one here. So the increase from 2022, the increase of jobs from 2022 to 2023 isn't as big as the increase from 2021 to 2022. So although there is an increase, but we call this a decreasing, growth. It is actually increasing in a decreasing order because it is though increasing, there is a growth, but it is a negative, kind of like it is growing in a decreasing order. So this is one of the ways. So technically, if it was a layman, you'd be like, "Oh, I'm glad because everything is all right." But um, the whole thing is you are increasing all right, but your previous increase or percentage this thing was way higher than the current one. So it's just like the case of K University students. You have a CWA. So if your weighted average of the previous, let's say first semester was is let's say for example 70, or let's say your CWA, yes, is say 70, and you increase, you do well, and you don't increase more than your CWA, or you don't increase significantly. Although there is an increase, but the effect, you can see that it is still causing your CWA to kind of drop, something like that. Or there will be significant change. I don't know much about GPA, that's why I'm not using that. But you can kind of relate it if you are from the GPA school and um, you know better, you can kind of relate it to yours. Yeah. So now here I don't know, it's past that time, 10 minutes. Before I continue, please, should I continue or I should pause and we digest what we had so far? My Tio will go first. Tio, what do you think? Okay, I think Bright, you wanted to speak. Rashad.
Sorry about that.
Okay, Bright. Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to say that it's completed a time so we can end here for today.
Okay, that's fine. Um, Rashad also said it is too much, so we should take some time. T, I didn't hear from
I think we should continue another time.
you. Oh, okay. Zainab, what do you think, Dr. Zain?
Please can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Zainab is always seconded. Why? Zainab will never say, "Oh, this one I don't." She's always seconded. Zainab, why? Okay, that's this. Um, this thing. Nanamwa,
Oh, what's that?
Nanamwa, what do you think? Nanamwa will say we shouldn't close. Nanamwa and Jonathan will say that. Nanamwa, what do you think?
Oh, today they let's close. I'm even
Hey,
happy.
hey, Ellen, hey, Charlie, Jonathan, what do you say?
Okay. Let me side with my colleagues.
Okay, today they are siding with them, right? So I'm alone. Fauzan, was the way for Fauzan, Abubakar, Siddiq, Dawood. What do you think?
I think the majority have already spoken, so I side by them. We shouldn't.
The boy is in the filler. Instead of it say yes, he's happy, but he's just doing like, he doesn't really agree with you guys, but because most of you are saying, you see it. Yeah, Tio. Then after that, I should tell you, you know, expose yourself. Let us know where you are. We don't want that. Sandra Kuma, what do you think? Sandra, don't write. I want you to unmute yourself and speak.
Please, we can continue another time.
Oh, okay,
I
that's fine.
think we have to close.
Okay, that's fine. So, guys, that's it for today. But before I go, I would remind me tomorrow. We meeting tomorrow. We meeting tomorrow. I don't know. Is it cool with you guys, or if you don't know, we meeting. I wanted us to meet tomorrow to make it to the classes. If we missed the weekends classes, I wanted us to meet tomorrow and then hopefully Friday. What do you think? This one too, starting from Sandra. Right. Sandra, what do you think?
Please, I'm okay with any decision that will be taken by you.
Hey,
I'm just a student. Yeah, I'm just a student and I'm here to learn. So if you are meeting
okay. So
tomorrow,
we're
why
meeting
not?
at dawn at 2 a.m. Will you join? Okay, Nalama, what do you think? Let me know if you have time. Just raise your hand, something like that, so that we don't. If you, I mean, approve that, you raise your hand so that I see. Okay, Nalama has raising the hand. Okay, Jonathan is cool. Only two. Okay, Zainab, cool. That's nice. Um, my TA is also there. She's always supporting me. Thank you to you. Um, because I, okay, Rashad too is in. So I think all of us are okay. So we meet same time tomorrow. And tomorrow when we meet, remind me, I'm going to show you sites where you can get data sets to, explore things. But whilst you go, maybe tomorrow at your very free time, you can continue the exploration. Tomorrow we will continue from there. You can look into things like salaries and then try to look at the minimum and maximum salaries and try to, they've converted the salaries to, what do you call it, US dollars. Try to also write function or try to convert the dollars into Ghana cedis, create a column called maybe currency in cedis, and then convert the cedis into the US dollar into cedis. That can be done just by it's simple. You just multiply it, the dollars by the rate. So you can pick any rate. You can search on Google and then pick the rate, dollar rate at that particular time. It's fine. And then just do the multiplication. I want us to explore more so that we can, when we get more, then we start machine learning. I want us to start machine learning in week 7. No, week 7. No, no, no. We will do some kind of, we have a quiz, a mini project to do. So tomorrow, remind me, I would show you sites to get data to practice. And then I would also say something about us. Yeah. So, and before you go, I wanted to show you, no, tomorrow I'll show you the award, right? I'll show you the award. You guys ago, you supported me. And um, thank you very much. Sandra, for your information, Sandra Kumar also won an award. I met her there. So she would also show hers. And then thank you, House, for thank you guys for supporting us. We really appreciate. So on behalf of myself and Sandra, thank you. Have a good night. See you tomorrow.